My parents are Nigerian, grandparents are Nigerian. I don't know how far back we're going, but you probably go a few generations back, all Nigerian, and it's something that's very evident in my day-to-day, how I go about things, and just the music I listen to is influenced heavily by that as well. You know, the boys will tell you there's a lot of Afro beats going on in there, a few different songs with my native tongue in there as well. So it's just the whole family, the whole lineage that we have. They've just kind of gone through and have all been Nigerian. I think it's just being proud of where you come from and not kind of shying away from it, and just understanding the richness of your heritage and like the history that goes behind it as well, and just embracing it all and not wanting to shy away from what might come with it. And there might be different stigmas that come along with it, but there's a lot more positives that outweigh all those stigmas, and I think I just leaned into all of that and took it on nicely.
It's a really good background. Like, the food is different. We speak French, so I speak 2 languages, French and English, so that's good, like teaching people different things.
I'm really proud of my family, you know, I'm really close with my family as well. Likewise, I think they're proud of me with the position I'm in. And you know, it's nice to have sort of being the best of both worlds, really. Having a family on both sides, you know, you're part of 2 different cultures. So it's nice to be in the middle of it, you know, experience both sides. And yeah, it's good.
Probably say my family, my mum, my dad and my 2 sisters. I think they've been very influential in how I've kind of just grown and seen life, and how I've kind of used them in what they do to kind of get a bit of inspiration from that and take it into what I do in football and just in life in general.
My mum and dad, because they brought me into this life and they showed me how to live, and I basically grew up as a man. Now I'm like my dad and my mum.
I'd probably say my dad and my mum, they're both in emergency services, so they both worked hard like their whole life. And I think with the jobs they've had, you know, it's good to look up to them, as they're always helping people and trying to sort of make the world a better place. So they're probably the 2 people I look up to the most. Also my grandparents, especially on my dad's side, as they come over from another country to live here. So, you know, the work they had to do to find a job and like settle down in this country. You know, it was obviously a hard task back then, so I look up to them a lot as well, yeah.
Growing up, you probably look up to a few different people in terms of what they've done. You could look at them from different sports, to be honest. You can take, let's say, Lewis Hamilton, Anthony Joshua, Serena Williams, even Rio Ferdinand in football, as different people that I could look up to. And I think those 4 that I just named there were very influential people in kind of having a look at how they kind of shaped themselves in their sport and how they went on to impact their sports positively. So yeah, those are probably 4 people I can name off the top of my head.
Well, we're from the Ivory Coast, so every kid from Ivory Coast, we look at Didier Drogba. So as a kid, I wanted to be a footballer, so we just look at him, we watch highlights, watch games, and we get excited every time we see him.
People sort of like LeBron James, you see a lot of things like, I wouldn't say he's my idol, but Sadio Mane, the sort of things he's done for his country, building hospitals and stuff like that. And then you look at LeBron James, like he's built a whole school where children don't have to pay anything to sort of work there. So they're probably the people that I look up to, people that have actually affected the world, because there's a lot of people that play our sport, but I think with the platform we have, there's a lot more that you can do sort of to make the world a better place than it actually is. And I feel like people that do that, such as the 2 people I mentioned, they're probably the people I look up to the most.
As footballers in general, not even myself, but I think as a collective, we kind of sometimes take for granted the positions we're in. And I think, like you said there, I had an experience going to a primary school and just kind of talked to little kids, and just I read them a story. It's a very simple task, and there was a little young boy, he kind of had a question, but it was more of a statement, shall I say, and he just said that he was happy he could see someone that was the same colour as me. And I think for me that was a big eye-opener, that, you know what, regardless of how young they are, they're still kind of looking up to me in the position I am in, as like, you know what, that's someone they can look up to, and that he was glad. And I'll be honest, it did touch me a lot, because it's just something I didn't expect. It was just out of the blue, but for someone that young to have an awareness of, you know what, like my skin colour, and there might not be many of me around in the classroom, but I saw someone that looks like me, it kind of put a smile on my face at the same time, and it just helps me understand that, you know what, I'm in a position of responsibility, and there's always something that says, the Bible verse says, to whom much is given, much is expected. And I think it's for me to understand that, you know what, I'm in a position of influence to just try and use that in a positive way and help those come in before me, or after me, shall I say.
I thought, like, when I was a kid, I thought growing up black would be hard, but as I grew up, I like it, because I remember my first day at this job, went to school, and this little girl came over and she was like, finally a black man, my dad's black at home. I looked at her and I was like, oh, she could grow up, they could grow up in her school and say, oh, I want to be like Frank, a coach. So it was good for me.
The following that we have as a club, as individuals, the sort of platform we have as players and role models to other people, you know, we can use our voice a lot, and probably a lot more than we all do. You see a lot of people, like Raheem Sterling, for example, speak a lot publicly about the trials and tribulations that he's had, really. And I think it's important for people like that to share their experiences and how they can sort of make things better for themselves and for other people that are coming into the next generation. I think our platform's massive. Like I said, especially as a club and as an individual, you know, we can do a lot to help people on and off the field.
It's massive. I think it's massive. I think the awareness has kind of come on it over the past few years. Of course, there have been, for some would say, well, the wrong reasons, but I think it's now for us to kind of shed a light on the positives of being black and our heritage and where we come from and what makes us who we are, because in our own right, we are unique, we're different, and it's for us to celebrate those differences and for us to kind of help other people understand that so we can all connect in a better way.
It's good, especially with white kids in primary schools. They don't really know about things like that, so as they're growing up, they're learning about it and things like that, so I think it is a good thing.
I think Black history is something that needs to be talked about in the same limelight as every other history event that goes on. So I think it's really good to have a time that we can sort of mainly focus on it, and like I said, use our platforms to sort of enhance the understanding of the history that went on in the black culture. So I feel like, yes, it's really important. You know, I think it's something that we really need to focus on and try our best to make it into something positive.